Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated. I have barricaded the door and the windows, and I am sitting here in the dark, waiting for them to come. At the end of the last episode, we discovered that there is a murder scheme against the High King, Flann Sinna, with a 95% chance of success. We have no idea how long it has been in place for. We have no idea who is behind it. And apparently, it is time for us to face the judgment of God. 95% success because of unknown factors. I don't understand this. Who hates me? Kukurka loves me. He's one of our most powerful vassals. Koning loves me. He'd be our next most powerful vassal. The vassals that hate us are down around -24. That's not the type of dislike that's going to cause somebody to try to kill me. Koning is next in line. He's next in line to be elected. I don't see him being motivated to kill me. None of my children hate me. I mean, the only people that dislike me are my wives. Other than the original Flann Sinna's daughter, Katrina, who was taken prisoner in the siege of Athlone and made a concubine of King Helgi. Other than her, have any 4 women suffered as much in the Kingdom of Ireland as these 4 women have? I've no way of confirming it, but my suspicion is that the unknown factors contributing to a 95% success chance at the moment are the involvement of these 4 ladies. That is all that I can think of rationally, and I imagine it's also what Flann Sinna, from his drunken seclusion, is thinking. So what can we do here? Not a lot, I don't think. I'm going to try a few things. I'm going to try to dump money onto these women to increase their opinion, to see if that will impact the chance in any way. So we will send her a gift of 12. This is poor Enid, who hates us the most. And then Queen Isabel. We will send her a gift, and that will increase her. I'm going to check. Now I know the way this works. It doesn't show up immediately. And then we have our wife who gave us 2 children after it became clear that we were an adulterer. And she is the only one of our wives with an imprisoned chance higher than 50%. And we're going to see if this impacts the success chance in any way, make, shape, or form. We also have a murder plot in place against our lover's fiancé, our lover's husband, who is also our knight. I didn't actually realize he'd been made a knight. I was thinking of cancelling this, but you know what? Look, it's progressed a bit, and I have no doubt that he's involved as well. So I think we'll leave this in place at the moment, because those 4 women and this guy, they are the people who hate me the most. I had been planning on holding off on holding a feast for until after the conquest of Iona. It's entirely possible that Flann Sinna won't live that long. I think his paranoia is doing strange things to him. And his alcoholism are doing strange things to him. And I think he's determined to hold this feast, thinking that maybe whoever it is will show themselves and act in such a way as to make it known that they are the ones that are planning this attempt to kill him. So we're going to hold this a great feast. And also try and get the stress down, because I think the stress might be contributing negatively to a couple of things as well. Well, it's definitely contributing negatively to some stuff. But we're going to send the invitations for this feast. A feast which is going to be arranged by one of our wives. Oh dear God, what have I done? We're also going to send a gift to our Archbishop to make him endorse us. Because again, I think Flann Sinna is paranoid that if he is to die, he's lived a good life, he's been a good man. Flann Sinna has lived by some of the laws of the church. He deserves to go to heaven. So we'll send Andra a big heap of gold to get him back on side. And with the game in the slowest setting, because just like with his predecessor, we have no idea when we might possibly get that pop-up. We're going to start and see if we can at least continue and finish off the conquest of Iona. I'm not going to lie, that terrified me. You cannot imagine how on edge I am at the moment. A cheery gathering. The guests are gathered in the great hall. Lords and ladies from the near and far reaches of the realm. The mood is bright. The spirits are high. No. The feast begins. Look at those pleading eyes in the bottom left-hand corner. Look at those pleading eyes. Oh, our wife has ran. She has fled to the countryside. She's fled to the countryside. Traitor! It's had no impact on the plot to murder us. I think all we can do is pray that our spymaster starts to uncover people. Now, of course, he is dedicated to disrupt schemes. He is the highest person that we have. And Cuchurcamoor has actually gone to war with Conall to take back Leinster, which had previously belonged to his brother. Here is our primary wife. She is helping our spymaster with intrigue at the moment, and he is on disrupt schemes. I listen intently to the High Queen as she carelessly reveals all manner of things. Distracted by trying to get one last drop from her tankard, she is oblivious to how carefully I am paying attention. Once she realizes, she starts getting up. I'm only rambling. It's not true anyways. Any of it. Oh, they just happen to be very interesting rambles. So we've learned that she's a witch. That's great. Flann Sinna is discovering all this stuff that he doesn't care about. Oh no! We've lost a level of devotion because our daughter came of age. I got really confused there, why that was happening. Here's our daughter that we've been training as a... No, this isn't the daughter that we've been training as a spymaster. That's Orla. I think this daughter was sent to the Archbishop to try and make him like us. Let's see, we might be able to marry... I don't think anybody will accept her for alliances. We might see about marrying her to some branch of the family. She is chaste. We do have a lot of daughters. So what we could do... She comes of age at 16 years of age. She will take vows and become a nun. Andra's opinion of us goes up. And there's an 100% chance that she will accept. She is an insightful thinker, and she's chaste. So yeah, we'll ask her to take vows. Oh, Lord. Babby number 5. My lover Astrid has been showing the signs, etc., etc. etc. Now I know for certain, as does the rest of the realm, the child is mine. Astrid Akra's unborn child will be known to have been conceived outside of wedlock. All of Flann Sinna's reckless deeds in pursuit of that achievement. That's what I'm terrified about. If Flann Sinna dies before I get that achievement for 10 seductions with one character and I have to start again. His piety is now down to sinner. Oh, lads. Oh, things are bad. So we're facing an empty council position because, of course, our chieftain, Conal, has just been taken prisoner. I'm sure he'll be released at some point in time. Sonny hates us entirely now. What's he down? Minus 57 because we slept with his spouse. Minus 60 because we're rivals. I've only just noticed that our wife absolutely despises us. Minus 113 because we were unfaithful. Here's Orgus. I think we'll assign him to this steward position for now. It'll make him like us a bit more. This is the woman that is helping to try to find who is trying to kill us. I don't know how much she's helping. And before Katrina, I don't know if you just saw it there, before Katrina accepted the our request that she becomes a nun, she joined our plot to kill Sonny. I am sure you will serve God well. So, our son approaches myself and his stepmother to say that this is a marvellous feast. All my compliments to the host. And I can either take all the credit myself, or I can say that my wife deserves the credit. It'll only give us plus 15 opinion with her, which is pretty much nothing when she absolutely despises us. However, household efforts will give us plus 5 direct vassal opinion, and courtier and guest opinion goes up 10. So I think we will do that. This is so tense. We're just watching these lads baiting their shields and waiting for something to happen. So Chieftain Chieftain Conal has been released from prison. He's now down to minus 50 because he's a strong vassal who wants a seat on the council. I might put him back there shortly. Don't do that to me. I think I'm going to have a stroke. With everyone headed for their respective homes, I am proud to say that the feast was a success. I have my wife to thank for much of its success, and I feel nothing but gratitude as she sees the last few guests off. Gratitude that you're still alive. Is that it? Until next time, I gain 150 prestige, and every guest gains 20 opinion of me for 10 years. Until next time, if there'll be a next time. And there might very well be a next time. Whatever we've done, the success chance has dropped to 39%, and the secrecy has dropped to 54%. I don't know what we've done. Who knows? Is it the people that we've given money to? Is it that wife who abandoned our court, or who ran away from our court when we tried to imprison her? Maybe people have begun to lose their nerves. They saw Flann Sinna sitting at the head of a room full of people who hated him, drinking, enjoying himself, listening to everything. Maybe they have lost their nerve. We're not out of danger yet. There is a 39% success chance, that's still pretty high, to murder the High King. But we've got it down from 95, so that's an improvement. You cannot imagine what I will do to these people when I find out who it is that's behind this assassination attempt. You cannot believe what I will do to them. You pretty much can, because there's not all that many options. The Isles are heading out to see what they can see. I imagine they're either going to siege down Ulster or they're going to swing up in a weird arc and maybe come in and try and attack us from the north. We've also lost a considerable amount of troops. I know the... I don't think we have any supply limit. Attrition is causing hell to us. 6% per month. Yeah, they're going back for the Inner Hebrides. God, they really want to take that place back. Oh dear God, that absolutely terrified me. We have another son. I think it's Dunlang. I don't like it as much. Maine or Evonia. So the Evonia would be a ruling dynasty in Connacht. So we can either call him Vonia or Maine. I'm going to go with Maine. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. Now the reason why that nearly gave me a heart attack is because, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, I may have spoke too soon about being out of danger. The plot has now gone up to 63% and a 78% chance of secrecy. It'll be interesting to see, if he is killed, how Ruacon, or Coning, Ruacon's son and successor, would respond. He could well be involved. So our siege in Inverness is winding down into the last few days. And we're now up to 93% war score. They're all delighted with themselves, but off you go on the march again. We have lost a considerable amount of forces in sieging down Inverness. I think we had 3,000 when we landed. We were down to... was it 2,200 there for a couple of seconds? So we're going to bring them in. Another battle in Iona. Good Lord! Holy Mother! Dear, look away. Children, look away. Flann Sinna is at his wit's end. I imagine he has a clock or something on the wall that is just constantly telling him the progress of the plot to kill him, as calculated by the best data scientists in the kingdom. He is afraid for his life, and he comes into his chambers and he finds this. A half-naked woman in the process of defiling his finest leather shoes. They're already trying to take his life from him. Now they're trying to take his shoes from him. Could this woman be involved in the plot to kill him? Are they now mocking him? To the dungeon with you. And because we pulled that woman away from our shoes, we are now known for our dedication to faith. The Isles are actually making tremendous progress on sieging down the Inner Hebrides. I don't think we're going to get there in time. The Devils, they're making a run for it. Out comes the sword. So they're going to lose that progress there. Our war score is ticking up to 96% now. It might even hit 100% before we actually manage to do battle with them. Oh, I think we've committed to going after them, so no, it's going to be this big long chase now. It's fully possible that we won't be able to hit them, and we'll have to we'll just have to wait for the war score to tick down. So here is what? Babby number 5 with Astrid. The first to be born in our court. We could name her after Astrid, after our mother. After Astrid's mother, who we poisoned. She didn't die after an ancestor. I don't think there's all that many ancestors to name her after. We could give her a good insular name. These do not look like good insular names to me. And the only other option, then we can't give her a good Irish name. So I think if we go for an ancestor, there's Lorne. Dergol. And we will legitimize her. All of my non-bastard adult children who dislike the bastard lose 25. Opinion, 15 years. Let's just make things worse. And we've managed to catch them. The Second Battle of Arran. And in the midst of the battle, we've gained a lifestyle perk. I'm going to deal with that first of all. And with the sounds of battle in the background, we have our options. Lovers are less likely to join murder schemes and more likely to save you in case of attempted murders. I was actually going to say that this entire event has guaranteed that Flann Sinna will start down the torture tree and pick dark insights to begin torturing the prisoner that we have. No, we're going to go for this. We're going to try and put together an elite bodyguard of lovers. If we are going to have an elite bodyguard of lovers, then they need a captain. They need somebody to lead them. Can we seduce our own wife? Can we corrupt her? And make her join us? And hopefully get rid of some of that minus 96 penalty against us. So let's see if we can start that scheme. Oh yeah, there's a battle going on. How many times has Flann Sinna's love life distracted him from the numerous wars that he's involved in? A couple more wallops and that should be the 2% war score that we need. And there you go, 100%. We will enforce our demands. To the loathsome High King Flann Sinna, may your year be short and miserable. So be it. And what should be a moment of great victory and celebration, the liberation of Iona. For the first time since the game started, almost 100 years ago, and way back beyond that, Iona is once again in the hands of insular Christianity. What should be a moment of great celebration is instead a moment of terror and fear. We're immediately going to send this army across to attack Dunbar, I think. We'll see what's going on with those guys. They can siege the place down. There isn't enough of you there, so we'll send our army across. We might even split it up and send half of it down to Northumberland. And I think we need to go to our councillor. He's converting the fate where? In the Isle of Man. Where the crack is still 90. And then we'll get him up here. So this is actually going to speed up the rate of conversion of the Isle of Man. Because it's, it's a plus 30% to conversion rate as far as I know. Dear God, that plot against us is growing and growing. It's now up to 73%. Our hook, our Astrid's hook on us has expired. Don't worry, she can get plenty more. It's on the way back up. One of our wives is in exile in Liege. So I don't know if that contributed. Actually, the murder scheme to kill Astrid is on the way up as well, as far as I can see. It's just gone up to 77%. So there's a great deal of there's a coalition. There's some type of alliance against both of us. Well, this kind of sucks. We've just... Well, I won't say we researched crop rotation a while back. We're also studying moths, which will be finished in 26 years. We're now fascinated by casus belli. And we're now one innovation short of being able to move up into the feudal era. If we were to focus, we're being exposed to casus belli. If we were to focus on it, this is 26 years. If we were to focus on casus belli, 23 years. There's not much of a point. We'll 26 years, and whoever is in power at that point in time may possibly be able to take Ireland into the feudal era. I was just checking the results of the Battle of Arran. When we get a pop-up in the background, I'm sure it's nothing to be concerned about. Chieftain Coning, 13. Brangan with 12. Our son with 12. High Chieftain Cucarcamoor fell down a bit. We'll dismiss that and see what this pop-up is. Chieftess Ekrel. Her belly grows. There can be no doubt she's a child. So this is the wife. We forced her to marry... Well, we didn't force her to marry. She was betrothed to actually the marshal who's leading our army, Orgus. And she came to us to talk about the possible conquest of Fife. So, yeah. She's having a baby. I forgot to split the army before it moved into Dunbar. Doesn't make much of a difference. Fife is under siege at the moment. I wonder if they're being attacked over something. She informs us that of course it's ours. We're going to keep this quiet, and hopefully Orgus will think it's his. Our daughter Orla has come of age, who we were educating as a spy master. She has 12 intrigue. I'm not too sure what we're going to do. Possibly we might find somebody, again, with high intrigue to marry her to. They grow up so fast. She is sadistic, brave, and ambitious. Ooh, it's a bad moment in time for somebody who's sadistic, brave, and ambitious to be coming of age. So we've gotten a couple of pop-ups. Again, I'm terrified. So ransom, we can ransom the creepy old woman in our prison. I was going to torture her. It's going to be a while before we can actually get the dark insights that allows us to gain prowess or intrigue. So do you know what? Look, we're going to just ransom the creepy woman for 10 quid. And there's other stuff, so we're going to do something with Orla in a minute. Orla has joined the scheme to kill Sonny, and I think that's what we're actually progressing here. My agents have scheduled a journey for Sonny, which will take them through dark woods. All that is missing is the band of thugs that will tragically slay them in a highway robbery gone wrong. I can already imagine blood seeping into the dark soil. So this is Astrid's husband. The woods can be such a dangerous place. And maybe it was Orla who tipped it over the edge. Thanks to my brilliant plan and my hired thugs, Sonny is finally dead. As the travel party stopped to camp for the evening, bandits poured out from among the trees, calling for blood and gold. The soldiers fought back, but thankfully it was not enough. Sonny was tragically slain in the melee. The bandits are now hunted by all, and no one even suspects my involvement. Ha! Perhaps commoners are not so useless after all. We gain some prestige, lose some stress. And we end our scheme to murder him. And we get our little pop-up of the things we do for love. And we pause immediately. And here's our wife. And we start a scheme to murder her. She has gone into exile. She's in Cambrai now, I believe. She is... We tried to arrest her. She was the only person that there was a good chance of arresting. So we're going to start that scheme. Because I'm convinced that my wives are involved in this plot to kill me. And with Sunny's death, look at this. Could it be a coincidence? Sunny was, of course, plotting to kill Astrid. And that plot has just dropped from 77, I think, to 23. The plot to kill me has dropped from 78 to 49. Could it be a coincidence? I think not. I should be angry at Astrid for bringing somebody into my castle, into my court, who has caused me such stress and anxiety. But how could I be mad with Astrid? How could I be angry at Astrid? This is the second time that she has flung over the walls of my castle, something that has almost killed me. Sometimes I get the feeling she doesn't love me. So I was thinking about reappointing my vassal Chieftain Conall as our steward, but Chieftain Conall is dying. He is at death's doorstep. He is ill, wounded, and botched disease treatment. So it's highly likely that he is going to die, and we are going to see his lands divided amongst his sons. Now, I know that Cuchurca took Leinster off of him, the actual county of Leinster. So I'm not too sure what way the lands are going to be split up, because I was hoping that we could give Connacht to our brother Liachnaun, and maybe at some point in time form Ulster. But you see, there's a lot of Ulster in Scotland. It's very confusing. Then again, there's a lot of Meath in Scotland as well. How the hell is this part of Meath? What's after happening here? I haven't been watching. So we had Annandale, but it looks like Cuchurca has pushed down into Cumberland. When did this happen? How drunk have I been? So it was conquered by Cuchurca in 951. And then he immediately handed it out to this guy. There you go. I didn't know about that. So I remember joking a while back that we might push down and take Cumberland to take control of the Hadrian's Wall. So there you go. We've a fancy parked. We've a special building in our kingdom now. That's how drunk Flann Sinna has been. He hasn't even noticed that. So but yeah. Anyway, this is all came from the news that Conall is dying. His 3 counties are going to be split between his sons, and that might be the beginning of an attempt to reorganize some of the counties. Well, this is awkward. I've been made aware that my wife, who I am trying to seduce, is very close to her friend, my ex-wife, Dovlema. Gaining her favour might help me to catch Euphemia's attention. So we can either get her whatever she wants, giving her a weak hook, pay her 50 quid. Do you know what? I think after all we've put... Well, we did also try to assassinate her father. Do you know what? We'll give her a weak hook. We'll give her a weak hook, and if there's anyone that could do something with a weak hook, it might be her. So we'll see what she does. So we've 2 pop-ups. We can see one there in the corner. Euphemia is delighted. Dovlema told her how much we helped her. Anything for a friend. And we'll pause very quickly. A person of interest to you, High Chieftain Conal of Munster, died from complications of a failed treatment. So our we're now looking at his son, Ferkelach. So the whole thing has split up. That is handy. We might actually at some point in time consider revoking his vassalage of Connacht and awarding it to Leachnaun, who rules Breffni, as Count of Connacht, or as Earl of Connacht. We'd need to create the Earldom of Ulster as well and actually give it to somebody. So, well, we wouldn't have to, but I wouldn't want to give Leachnaun control over Connacht without taking Oriel off of him. So we might do a reorganization at some point in time. Of course, we control Desmond, which should be part of Munster. So either we should take the title Count of Munster for ourselves, or Duke of Munster, or we should actually give the county to Ferkelach. I don't think we'll do that. He has, oh my god, he has absolutely terrible stats. We've some prisoners who've been here for a while that, I won't lie, we'd kind of forgotten about them. Can't really do anything with Klaus. We could force him to join us. No, we couldn't. There's nothing we can do. So yeah, we're going to get a weak hook on him. We're just going to ransom him. It's fine. Don't really care. And Landina, she schemed against us. She's married to one of our knights. We'll execute her. I'm not entirely too sure what's just happened, but Cuchurcha for the first time since Flann Sinna has come to power, Cuchurcha is now our heir and successor. Maybe it's because of the slight increase in dread. Maybe it's causing people to vote in favour with us. Let's see what is going on in the election for the High Kingship. Then again, Cuchurcha has been conquering land and giving it out to people. That doesn't create voters, though. That doesn't create voters here in Scotland. So I'm not too sure what's happening. We're supporting him. He is still supporting Coning. Coning is supporting Cuchurcha. And Orgus has actually switched his vote. He's no longer supporting his brother. He's now also supporting Cuchurcha. Our brother is voting against us. Well, he's voting for his son. And yes, I suppose we had, so Conal would have had one vote spread out over 3 counties. Now we have 3 separate counts. So one of them is voting for Cuchurcha. Cuchurcha's nephew is not voting for him. Cuchurcha's nephew is voting against him. And we have a couple of other people then, just random people that are wandering in and kind of taking some of the votes. So Cuchurcha, if we were to die now, our bestest best friend in the whole wide world, Cuchurcha would become the new High King of Ireland. I'd completely forgotten about this, but our half-sister and Martin have become lovers. I'm going to gain 500 lifestyle experience points. Not going to complain about that. I also gain flirtatious. What a time to become flirtatious. So, he is located in our court, I think. I didn't realize he was actually already married. Well, they're lovers and they're happy out. She's also married, or she's betrothed to somebody. This is weird, but I get 500 lifestyle experience points, so I don't care. And now it's switched back to Coning. Coning is being supported by the majority of the vassals to succeed us instead of Cuchurcha. I would rather Cuchurcha because that will keep the rotation between the descendants of Green Graffador, the Green Graffadorta, the descendants of Ruacán, and the descendants of Geralt. So it's gone from Green Graffador to Ruacán to Geralt's family, and it'll go back to Green Graffador's family. That's what I would like to achieve. But we're not really in a position to try and force and organise that at the moment. So I just gotta pop up that Dervagol has died. We captured her in a raid, forced her to convert to insular Christianity, and then married her into a bastard branch of the family who has now established his own house. House Donal. He's a bastard founder. And his son, Chieftain Clemens, a good insular Irish name, Clemens Mac Cúcenmháthair, has become the new ruler of Ross. Like I said, I thought he'd be a member of House Uí Néill. I was silly. I was wrong. So the Liberty War that we were only half-arsedly a part of has ended, because there's no longer a valid target. So be it. Northumberland has split off. I think it was this area. It was indeed. This is the woman that was trying to split off and gain her independence, so I think she succeeded. I don't know. Dunbar actually also has declared independence. This is the region that we were sieging down. So a couple of places have become independent. Following the confused end of that war, we're in a moment of peace. A moment of quietness. As we put our ear to the door and listen for footsteps, listen for any movement in the hallways. I hear something. Scheme discovered. The existence of my plot to murder High Queen, I could never pronounce her name, has been discovered. While my involvement is not yet known, this will make it more difficult to bring my plans to fruition. Curses. We haven't had much of a choice there. We were down to 5% success chance. Nobody was joining or willing to join. We had very little of a choice but to cancel that scheme. And what we're instead going to do is start a scheme to murder Enid. For a long time, our primary wife. She is the person I am most suspicious of. Because, of course, what we're looking at here is her stepsister, Astrid. Flann Sinna has had 5 children by her now, and this has hit Enid badly. Anybody else would probably take pity on Enid. Flann Sinna, however, is drunk and paranoid and angry and is probably going to take out his rage on a good chunk of his wives. So we now have a plot to kill Enid, and because it's happening in our court, I expect that we're going to get a lot more support. Let's go and look at the invite. And you know what? Astrid herself could be convinced. All we'd have to do is use a hook. Speaking of my wife's stepsisters, we tried to hit on Asta at one stage. Tried to seduce her. She turned us down. She's never married. I've just demanded her conversion to insular Christianity, and do you know what I think we're going to do? We're going to marry her off to poor old Uncle Urcaid, who never had any children of his own. He's married a couple of times. Okay, he was married once, and he had a lover, Orla. I'm not too sure. There she is. And she was married, or still is married. She's been married to numerous knights, but again never had any children. So we're gonna send that proposal. So my wife's stepsister is now married to my uncle. This is of course our lover's sister. This is a weird family. Christmas is weird in this family. Kukurkamur is back as our primary heir, or as our player heir. Something's happening that's causing this to hop back and forward. So somebody's changing their opinions like crazy. It just shows, I suppose, that people are taking the succession a lot more seriously now. That Flann Sinna has been stressed and drinking heavily. Our lover has given birth to a child. We know that the child is ours, but we're not going to say anything. We're going to allow the child to be passed off as the son of our Count, Urgus Mac Ruacón, and they have named the child Ruacón, after his grandfather, who we may have sent a box of poison coins to back before I took control of the character. So here's poor Ruacón. Should be Mac Urgus, as opposed to Mag Ekrith, or Ekra, but Yara, whatever. And of course, the child has inherited our quick trait. Of course, yeah. Great. We've decided to hold a dance, not simply because we're the lord of the castle, but because we want to see our wife there. Apparently, we have to organise events if we want to see our wife. We have a number of different options, as always. I'm thinking, this one, have you seen how these people dance? It appeals to her malicious side, and she is deceitful, and she's a schemer, so I'm going to go with that one. And it looks like we failed. No matter how hard I tried, she did not laugh at my jokes. In the end, she accused me of being pointlessly cruel. That's not like me. And left me sitting by myself. The scheme gains awkward interactions. Those aren't good interactions. I don't want awkward interactions. Another daughter comes of age. She's not as good a schemer as her elder sister. I think this is going to be happening for a while. A lot of daughters coming of age. They grow up so fast. And I'm not entirely too sure why he's prepared to accept, but surely a distant member of the family, the King of West Francia, you may have heard of them before, is prepared to marry Roche. She's 16, he's 59. I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. And it's just barely, +2. But it will bring in 4,700 allies. When's the last time an alliance with West Francia hasn't been in our interests? We will send that proposal. And there you go, we have an alliance with West Francia. He gladly accepts. May Saint Bridget bless our union. He's been reading up. He knows his Irish saints. Fair play to him. So with a hefty new alliance to our name, I don't see why we shouldn't put it to the test. I thought we could maybe push our guess claims to the county of Fife. We can't. But now that she has provided a son, Ruacón, who is actually our son, we're going to take Fife and we are going to give it to her. Yeah, sure. To our lover. And at the very worst, it'll be joined back together when our son inherits it. When our vassal's son, cousin, he's like a son to us. So we're going to attack. Yealand have a substantial enough force. They're currently in a war, so they're going to be slightly distracted for a couple of minutes, still fighting against Genoa. But we'll be able to call in the West Franks For the first time, the West Franks setting foot in Ireland for the first time in a couple of decades. So we will confirm and declare war. Of course, I said all that about him joining our war without actually checking if he would accept. He will accept though, so we will call him to war. And we will go to our good old rally point and raise all here right next door. And it's under the control of Koning, who was our heir until a few seconds ago. He's been replaced by Chieftain Kukurka. The West Franks have joined the war. The Isle of Man has been converted to insular Christianity. So I'll pause very quickly and do a couple of things. Come to our council, convert faith, and we will put him in the Inner Hebrides, converting, or maybe it's already insular, maybe it was always insular. No, it wasn't, I just misclicked. And what else are we doing? I can't remember, I'm totally lost now. Oh yes, what I want to do is I wanted to come here and actually change the commander, if we can, to Orgus, who thinks that he's fighting for his son. Thinks that he's fighting to put his son on the in Fife, but it's actually my son. So we've got our army up to max capacity, we'll march him in. There's a couple of different people joining in this conquest, as was to be expected, against us. Let's see what the battle looks like at the moment. Look at that, Ireland and West Francia lit up for the first time in a long time. And they're bringing in not exactly substantial forces. They're bringing in parts of Sweden. So not all of Sweden, but parts of Sweden are coming in. It'd be handy if West Francia would go for these regions here. I don't think they will. Then again, it might be handy as well to actually get them onto Britain, because we can see that these guys have a hefty army. We might have to go and bring in our allies in Middlesex if we still have them. I can't remember what wife they're allied to. So we've attended a tournament. Kukurka is there. He's bored. I think it's taken a while to start. It's been delayed. We have a couple of different options. Find out a random secret. Spend some time with Kukurka and make him our best friend. He was our friend, and then he stopped for some reason. Oh yeah, I think we'll make Kukurka our friend again. East Sex is joining in the war, so that's going to bring more forces to bear. Should Yealand actually lend any troops here? They're still fighting in their war against Genoa, so I'm hoping that distracts them for a while. We've managed to seduce our wife. She will become our lover, gain 20 opinion of us, and she will still hate us. But if it comes to it, she will be the captain of our elite lover bodyguard. Kiss me again, you rattling witch. Or my rattling witch, even. And with that, I have managed to get the seductive achievement. For seducing 10 characters with a single character, dear God, if Flann Sinna had died. And I had to start that all over again. That was one of the main goals with Flann Sinna. The pursuit of that achievement led to some absolute anarchy, which was well, it's led to a 95% certain chance of killing him at one stage. I think I'm quite certain, and it's led to the entire conflab with Astrid. Other than getting the achievement, I very rarely, if ever, play as a character whose main goal would be seduction. It's usually military-minded characters. And I say that as we siege down Fife, and we're probably going to need to bring our army down to deal with this little siege that's going on down here in a second. But what I'd be interested to know, another daughter comes of age. Like I said, we're going to have a lot of daughters coming of age for a while. They grow up so fast. What I'd be interested to know, and if you want to type in the comments below, what do you guys use seduction-based characters for mainly? Or we're going to get the seduction trait in a couple of minutes. Is it to make characters like you? Is it to make characters, to gain characters maybe in rival courts who might support your schemes? And speaking of all of that, we can unlock a perk. And you know what? I think after all that has happened on this episode, it is only fitting that we gain the trait Seducer, +3 to intrigue, +20 to fertility, and attraction opinion goes up 40%. So we will unlock that. Flann Sinna, I think there was a little kind of a cock of his eyebrow there, kind of like, ladies, as he became a seducer. While I'm here, I think we're going to switch to the skullduggery focus, which will give us even more to intrigue. Wow, up to 32 intrigue. And we're going to start looking at what's the next thing to do. I remember a couple of episodes back, I said I don't know what his motivation would be in becoming a torturer. Because there's an achievement for that as well, finishing the torture tree and the schemer tree. Like, why would he become a torturer? I couldn't really see the motivation at the time. Oh, hell's bells, I can see the motivation now. So it's highly likely that in the next episode, or the next time that I get a perk, I'm going to go for Dark Insights. And start going down that route. It's a pity that he doesn't have any great... he's not a great... he's not very well educated. Just 20% more experience in this lifestyle. Instead of 30 as we had for some of his previous rulers. I don't know whether we should focus on Schemer or start going back and forth between the two. Dark Insights would be fantastic. Dreadful as well to help secure Kukarka Moore's election. Thriving in Chaos, we're usually in the first level of stress anyway, so that's immediately an extra 4 to intrigue. So between these two, we're looking at potentially an extra 9 intrigue. So that wouldn't be too shabby. So yeah, we're gonna see what to do there in the next episode. We're bringing in a lot of allies. Enemy allies are joining. Our allies are joining. I'm not too sure who this guy is. Did he just die recently? No, he didn't. Somebody was replaced, admittedly, but he's been dead for a long time. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry, he died on the 11th of March. He was born in 913. He just died recently, so our enemy has been replaced. We're fighting somebody new. There's substantial forces on the island of Britain. I was going to say Ireland. But there's also substantial allied forces making their way down slowly. We've well over 6, probably over 7,500 troops coming down to meet them. I was so nervous at the start of this episode as to whether or not Flann Sinna was going to see it through to the end, and while he's alive for now, I think that gives us as good a place as any to bring this episode to an end and to take a look at how the plot against him is doing. It's 33% certainty, 58% secrecy to kill Astrid, 49% certainty to kill Flann Sinna, down from an eye-watering 95% at the start of this episode. And in the next 3 months, we should probably see Astrid's stepsister, our wife Enid, murdered. There is indeed an achievement for that. But since Astrid and Asta were overthrown, I don't get an alliance from her anymore. So, and I'm also convinced that my wives are planning to kill me. And the last thing that we'll check, look at this. She was at -70% and is now up to +42%. The only thing is that it has made no effect on the plot to kill me. So either she wasn't involved, or she's still involved, even though she likes me now. I'm not too sure. But we do have a big, if I can go to the relationships, we have 5 lovers. I don't know how many of them are in our court. I think 4 of them are in our court. Which hopefully they will, using that trait that we got from the lifestyle experience tree, possibly they will throw themselves in front of any arrows that that might be fired in our direction. Maybe our lovers will serve as a faithful bodyguard. Who knows? We might see on the next episode. Thank you for joining me on this one. I'm just glad to be alive at the end of it.